This is John Cameron. I'm sitting in the offices of Dr. Tonya Milligan, and she is the superintendent of schools, as most of you know. And it's a lovely office. It's, by the way, snowing, so
in April.
we will enjoy snow. So thank you so much
Yeah,
for
of course.
spending some time with us.
Of course.
Really appreciate getting to
Yeah.
talk to you a wee bit. We have this View from the Top program, and since you represent education in our communities, which is a pretty important point for all of us who care about the future, which I think is all of us. Tell us about what's happening in the Oxford school system. Is there anything interesting that's been going on in the last few months that keeps you busy, or do you just sit around and just think about education and things?
And eat bonbons at the same time. Well, first and foremost, the exciting things happening in Oxford is the education of our students,
Yes.
right? I get to go to the schools. I'm in all of the schools as much as possible, seeing the amazing work that our teachers do, our counselors do, our paraprofessionals, our administrators. It is such a joy. I was just at the high school earlier today, going into classrooms and seeing the teaching. And, just as an example, our seniors, it's April. Seniors are really special in April, and I got to be in an English classroom. And the way that the English teacher just navigated that energy, because they're excited, they're going to graduate soon. They're like, man, do I need to do the work? Do I not need to do the work? And she had structured it so beautifully, and it was clear she had very positive relationships. And so the kids, it was just so energizing, and that is repeated in every single school. So I think more than anything, I want people to know that great things are happening in our schools. The other really important aspect of what's happening right now and this year is the development of our strategic plan.
Okay.
So a strategic plan is like a roadmap. So I'm new to Michigan, and so if I wanted to go to Traverse City, right, I could get on a road and just like figure it out and just drive wherever and get off on this off ramp and try this road. But it'd probably a lot easier if I had a map, Google Maps or otherwise. And so the strategic plan for a school district is the roadmap to where we want to be in 5, 10, 15 years. And so we started the process. I talked about it in my interview back in the spring when somebody asked me, they said, what is your vision for Oxford Community Schools? And I said, see, the important thing is, what is our vision? It's not about me, it's about us. And so we've been able to start the process. We started it in October and have been working. The ad team's been working on it. My cabinet's been working on it. We had our first community forum around the strategic planning in January. I had about 85 people participate. We had a snow day that day, of course, because it's Michigan. But we still had people come out, even though I had students attend, even though they had a snow day and could be in their pajamas at home, but they chose to come and hang out with Dr. Milligan for the day. So such great dialogue, and we have so many brilliant people in Oxford, and so to have them come together and talk about what's important to us, what's important for our schools, what's important for our future, and to kind of reimagine the direction that we're hoping our schools will take our students. And so we took all of that feedback. My cabinet and I really worked through the feedback to make sure that we are honoring the themes and that we're surfacing. And this Wednesday, we have our second community forum where we're going to present those, the final vision, mission, core values. And then they're going to help us think through our goals and what our goals and aligned actions need to look like. So we have kind of our marching orders on what we're doing. And the cool thing about that, you had mentioned, does it just sit on a shelf? Not if we've done it well and people have a vested interest, they have ownership of it. They want to know, okay, how are we doing? We set these goals and aligned actions. How are we doing? So the great thing about that is we're going to have a dashboard, a data dashboard that will actually go along with the goals, and we can see how our progress is being made. So at the board meetings, in lieu of just providing data in general, we're going to provide very specific data around those goals and how are we progressing towards those goals. So I'm really excited. It'll be a huge accomplishment for it's rare that a superintendent would come in and do that their first year, but we needed it. We needed some guidance and a clear trajectory of how we wanted to go forward.
It sounds to me like you've been very serious about figuring out what's now, what's the future, how are we going to get there, and then there's a whole process to get a lot of people involved in throwing their 2 cents on the pile to make a good final set of decisions.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because again, it's not my plan and it's not my cabinet's plan. It's our community's plan for the schools and how we're going to galvanize the work and push them forward for the future, right? And it's comprehensive. It looks at facilities, it looks at teaching and learning, it looks at hiring practices, professional development, like all of the things that make a school run, a school district run. It has all of that in there.
One of the things that you make me wonder about, if I can take a sidebar, but I see so many times comparisons between American educational results and other nations of the world, and it's massively disappointing. As an American, I'm rather proud of us to to see that we're not doing as well as some of the countries that we might think we ought to be better than for some arrogant reason. How does Oxford? Will that be a part of it? How do we get going faster and go up the curve so that we're going to be in 5 or 10 or 15 years, these students will be better prepared than if they didn't follow such a thorough plan? Is this going to get them in better shape than they might be otherwise? Maybe that's
Yeah.
a better question.
Yeah. Well, I think that the challenge when you have a large organization like a school district, the challenge is getting everybody moving in the same direction. A strategic plan gets everybody in the boat rowing in the same direction. And so it's more efficient, it's more effective, and it's going in the direction you want it to go. And the problem is if you don't have a strategic plan, people just kind of, not that they have nefarious intentions. If we're not clear, I hope Brene Brown, clear is kind. Let's be clear about what we want, how we want it to be, where we want to go. That way hey, if I know what we need to do, I'm more likely to do it, right? And so I'll be able to go in that direction along with everybody else.
Sounds good. All right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Let me take a side step. First of all, blessings on the plan. I hope it.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
As effective as you speak it into being was be. You're in a new digs now. You're no longer downtown. You move out to suburban Oxford, and this is a new building. Not a new building, but a new building for the school system. How's the move gone?
Yeah.
What's left to be moved, and why did you all decide to change spots?
Yeah. So the first thing I think that's really important to understand is the facilities here. We're bringing together departments, student services that were out on the fray of Oxford, right? So we had our Oxford Virtual Academy, our OVA. They were at a strip mall down the street, right? We had our Bridges High School, which was on the second floor of the middle school. And we had our loft program, in the middle of a high school. And these are kids who are 18 to 25, right? You have high school kids coming to middle school. You have 18 to 25-year-olds going to a high school, and you have a strip mall, right? So kids pick up very quickly on how we value them by how the space that we provide for them. And so bringing all of them here in this beautiful location, it tells them very clearly that they are important, that we value them. And they were so happy to be here. And so when you get your tour, you're going to see the spaces. They're beautiful. And so, that's the most important thing, is that everything that we do is rooted in how does it benefit students, right? And so when we had some staff move here to support those programs and additional programs that we had housed here, then we had some remaining downtown, just a handful. And we have this huge building with just a handful of people. And then we had quite a few of our staff over here. And that created kind of this divide that you don't see one another every day. You don't have just general conversations. And so it just became problematic. And we were able to kind of figure things out that we're like, wait a minute, we could probably fit everybody in that building, and then it's up to the board on what to do with the downtown building. But it's possible that, we could sell it and, for the save the taxpayers some money. And if it's a business that comes in, it provides tax for the for the village. So we went ahead and made that decision, and it's been great. It's been great to see kids every day. They're the reason we do what we do. So it's great to see their faces and interact with them on a regular basis, just coming into, my office or, going around the building, seeing them. They're testing today. And I was a former high school principal, so it just brings me joy. Yeah, I do know that. We have fire drills here. We have tornado drills. We do all the things.
Perfect.
So I love it.
Well, it's good to hear that things are organized strategically and also logistically, so that you're getting ready to get to the future.
Yeah.
Jump it. So that's a great thing.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to a little tour of the
Yeah.
operation ourselves.
Well, the nice thing about this campus, it's a tremendous amount of land. And so for the future, depending on what the community decides, we could look at an early childhood learning center on this campus. We could look at, there's potential for all sorts of things that would benefit the community. We have a very robust early childhood program in Oxford, and we have a waiting list, like really long. People want to come to Oxford for that program. Right now, we don't have the capacity to grow it, but it's something that we can think about in the future. Part of the
Future will come whether or not we're ready.
That's right. And we have all those new builds that are going up. They're coming with children. We have to have some place to put them.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for giving us a few minutes.
You're so welcome.
We thank you for giving us a view of the snowfall coming down. That'll date the program.
Yeah. It's a little depressing, though.
We thank you for moving into town.
Yeah.
You're going to be, I'm confident you already are, a delightful leader in a
Thank you.
time when we need a delightful leader. So it's great to have you on the team. It's
Yeah.
just a joy.
It's been a joy to be here. I'm honored to have the opportunity.
Well, on
Thank you,
behalf of
Chuck.
Oxford Community Television, thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
All right. So, for the good doctor, this is Chuck saying we're going to go take you on a tour of the new facility here, and we'll see you soon.
Think, what if we didn't have local TV and radio? Where would I go for local sports, local politics, a mayor, city council, stuff that affects me every day? How about health? Who's covering things that endanger my family? I need to know now, as it happens, from sources I trust, people in my community. No agenda, no bias like you find on cable and social media, just facts. For news I can trust, I stay local. Support your local station. Text TV to 52886 today.
So I'm sitting here with Janet, who has an innovative and executive program thing going on, and you're going to tell us a little bit about what's new in this good operation. Is that about right?
We are. So what's new here today is this wing just opened up in our new center, the Oxford Education and Innovation Campus, otherwise known as OEIC.
Yep.
We're really excited to welcome central office staff over to the building to coexist with three programs, three schools. It's been really fun to have all of our team here working together, and that collaboration and efficiency. So
What sorts of schools or organizations are now together here that were disparate before?
So we have the LOFT program that was located at the high school.
Okay.
Adult transition program, learning all the work-based skills and living skills. Wonderful program led by Jean DeSico and Pamela Beal.
Loft?
LOFT. We have Oxford Bridges High School.
Okay.
Was located at the middle school and is now here at OEIC on the south wing.
And what does Bridges High School do?
They are considered an alternative. I like to think of it as a school that provides a different approach to learning for our students who may not march to the same drum as everybody else. Our students that need a little bit more maybe of a smaller setting, maybe different types of curriculum offerings, the structure set up a little differently, smaller family style feel. So,
That's true.
and then we have our flagship Oxford Virtual Academy. This is the hub, the central hub. However, we're located all over Southeast Michigan. And we also, within Oxford Virtual Academy, have our shared time program. So our shared time hub is here as well, all the staff that supports that, and some of the teachers are coming in here and then work throughout Southeast Michigan.
Excellent. Cool. Lots going on here.
We do.
And you dragged it all together because there's obviously synergy if you can walk down the hall and see somebody doing something different and actually talk to each other.
Exactly. I think that's been probably I would argue or advocate that this is such a great model, because when you bring your alternative and innovative schools together, the cross-learning, sharing of ideas, schools that had kind of been islands and on their own now have, administrators, or you're kind of by yourself and a small tribe, and now we're working together. We even have an instructional learning team that Crossroads also joins us as an alternative school in the district. Mr. Maskell comes over. We have, Aletha, Vanloozen. We have Marie Murphy and Jordan Dennis, our APs here. And then we work with Jeannie DeSico in the loft, and we share ideas and collaborate and help each other out with our fire drills, safety, security. We can help students get out, as an example, of the basement now. She's got all of this team that helps work with her.
Growing together.
Growing together, learning together, supporting. We do fundraisers together. Loft students create community events for us, and we can, hire their students to do, the team will buy potato and soup lunch, and they get to
Sounds like it
prepare
was
for
a
us.
good decision. I'm sure a well-discussed decision.
Very well discussed.
Good decision to bring all those folks together here.
Very much so.
Synergy.
Collaboration is the key, I think, especially when you're trying to create learning spaces and innovate.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, let's walk us around and show us what's going on, if you would.
All right.
You lead.
This is the central office floor.
So we're in a new spot here. What's all this? Lots of halls coming together. Obviously, the banana table.
The banana. So
What's all going on?
This is the central hub, kind of the center of I would say, the four corners. So we just left central office area, and now we're entering student space. So the virtual academy, our secondary, so our grades 6 through 12 are housed here. And then in today's state testing day, so we have some snacks out on the table, chairs available. That wing is all our operations and data and tech departments that supports the entire building. They all support all of this work. So
I'm sure there's a lot of data technology that's necessary for now, and also will be necessary for the future. Because
absolutely,
you're going to be looking ahead, not just now.
absolutely, yeah,
Okay, cool.
very much so. So we want to walk this way. We can take a little gander. Mrs. Foster greeting students as they check in.
Lots of color on the
Lovely
wall.
smile. Mrs. Foster's our family school liaison. She works with our families, is out in the field and online and everywhere in between.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. It's nice to
May
have
you
here
be
today.
successful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we've entered it's the secondary OVA wing, but we also have a lot of support services here. We have our counseling office, our testing office, we have our anti-bullying, restorative practices coordinator, curriculum. Our shared time offices are here that support our shared time program. We have pupil accounting, enrollment, student services, and safety.
What is share time?
Share time are the students that we provide elective courses out in our private parochial schools.
Good.
So Michigan Constitution, state law provides that our families, if they would like electives through their private school, we can provide that.
Interesting.
So we provide them virtually and some seated. Yeah.
Standing here now, Matt has joined us, and Matt, you're the guys who keep the technology working. And it must be an awful lot of tech going on, the school buildings and the district and all the other stuff going on, the virtual academy. That's got to be a lot. How many people are involved in keeping the technology working?
We have a great team, a big team
Good.
of probably 10 different district techs. Then we have some people at a level 2, and then we have people at a level beyond that working with the network security, and then badge access and making sure that all the safety and security stuff. And then on the OVA side, we have a whole bunch of district technology specialists that work to make sure all the kids get to where they need to be in their online classes. So there's a lot of different moving parts that have to all fall in line to make sure that that works for everybody.
And we discussed the programming portion
sure.
of it as well, right? The importance of kind of unique for school districts to have a
Yeah,
program.
one of the things that's a little bit different for Oxford than compared to other districts is a few years ago, our superintendent allowed us to have a programming team. And by bringing on one programmer, the first projects that he worked on, his name's Brian Collins, what he worked on saved the district $71,000, because that's what a vendor was going to charge us for the projects that he did. And then moving forward past that, we've been able to develop programs that will make teachers' lives easier and save them time, to give them more time with kids in the classroom or in their digital online classroom, and not having to do so many of those administrative tasks.
Sounds good. And the problem with tech from my side is that it all has to work. And it has to work well, and it has to be seamless, because when something doesn't work, everybody's hair is on fire. And that's a problem, especially if you're involved in education. It's more than just my card doesn't work at Costco. It's,
It has
education.
to work and it has to be safe.
Yep.
So Matt's very in tune with COPA, and maybe you could explain that. But
FERPA, and those are just making sure Child Internet Safety Acts and
Okay.
FERPA to make sure that our data for our students is secure, that we're making sure that people aren't violating any of those laws, and that we're making sure that kids aren't being advertised to on our programs, and always looking into how we can do those rules better.
It's a lot about security then.
security very much so.
That'd be something to have a separate discussion about that, because I think the folks who watch our TV programming might be really interested to know how much work the district does to keep the kids secure in a time when people are trying to steal
A
everything.
lot of work
Yeah.
to be cyber secure
Yep.
and to manage the COPA responsibility.
And just also monitoring our student devices for safety and security. I heard Janet mention it earlier, that we are very in tune with making sure that wellness is keeping track of. And we do that also on the digital side, to keep track of where the kids are going, what are they going down any roads that they shouldn't be, so that we can help them and kind of lead them back to the right path.
Wow. Other than that, it's an easy job.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a
Right.
load. Well, thank you for taking time.
Yeah, thank you.
Way more for doing all that you and your team do to keep this valuable resource, our kids, safe and going forward learning.
Okay.
So true.
Thank you.
Valuable
Thanks.
resource.
Appreciate your time.
All right, well, I'll head off to the law.
Lead on. This is the loft.
Loft
It doesn't
program.
look lofty, but tell us about the loft program.
So the LOFT program is an adult transition program for 18 to 26-year-olds. The main focus is to learn life skills, daily living, and they have this wonderful PACE lab program that instructs students in micro businesses. So
Excellent.
it helps them get some work-based skills. So they have the structure. So over here they have a room where they can work on Legos and building things, and they have more of a living room, teaching about daily living, things like that. Micro businesses, when we walk over here, are on this side, and then they have their kitchen because they do a lot of catering. It's really state-of-the-art kitchen, and then they also have commercial laundry washer and dryer because they do laundry for a wage. So
You
really
gotta-
cool program.
You gotta have a job.
Yes. So if you look here, if you scan over here, you've got different pathways for the students, micro businesses in consumer and service, processing, production, business marketing, computer technology, construction, industrial, and so they learn these skills through this program, and then these boxes represent kits that they can explore and demonstrate what they've learned and pass some assessments and get some certifications and things like that as they move through the program. So a nice way to show what they know.
It's a lot of, that's a lot of commitment to helping young people who are challenged to get on with life.
Exactly. Give them a leg up and to give them some time to build skills and acquire more skills, maybe new skills, and live in this society. And thank goodness we have a district that really values that are most vulnerable.
They clearly do.
Yeah.
What's all up here?
So this way, you'll see our cafeteria. We just completed, moved in, and by July, we'll have a full-blown renovated food service kitchen, state-of-the-art equipment, new tile, ready to go for our students and staff.
It's for students and staff. So all the folks in this building and the folks who come into here as well, be able to use a cafeteria.
Yep, and it also works well for community events.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. One of the chapels being renovated. So, yeah.
So, Lisa, what's going on in this lovely area? It's very peaceful, and I like that.
We don't have students right now.
That's probably why. Tell us about what goes on in your domain here at this operation.
So we are an seated alternative high school for Oxford, and we have about 50 students. Our students are 10th through 12th grade. They come to us directly from Oxford High School.
Okay.
And these are students that have not been successful in a traditional environment for whatever reason. They are students who are behind in their credits for graduation purposes, and that's how they get referred to us. So we are not an expulsion school. We are not a suspension school. We provide them with the Michigan Merit curriculum. And what I mean by that is their diploma is just like Oxford High School diploma.
Good.
Okay. Our students go to OTEP, which is for different kinds of skilled trades, where they do automotive, culinary, collision, etc.
It's a remarkable program.
It is a remarkable program. They can earn certifications there so that they're ready to roll once they leave high school. And we've had several boys who have finished the collision and or the automotive, and are skilled trade mechanics who can get positions in the automotive industry.
You make a living?
Absolutely. We do have students who will attend Oakland Community College as a stepping stone. As you can imagine, if you haven't done well in a traditional high school, your GPA is a little low, but you still can go to OCC. How you do in high school does not necessarily define you for your future.
Fortunately for most of us, that's true.
Yes.
Yes, they have to. So they get I don't say second chance because you didn't say that, but they get some extra opportunities to learn in an environment that seems to be designed with them in mind, rather than just be an outlier and kind of an inconvenient kid. Here they're an important kid. Is that about right?
100%. So our students tend to be back of the room students. You're very quiet students. You're students who maybe have some social anxiety. And so when they come here, of course, with only 50 of them, we all know all of their names and can interact with them personally. All the students here have relationships with at least one staff, close relationships with at least one staff that they can count
And it
on.
takes that, doesn't it? A real adult to care about me.
Yes. Yes, and when you're in, with 1,700 other students, sometimes you can get lost in the shuffle.
It's easy.
And so they can't get lost here.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Welcome.
More thank you for the amazing work that you and your team must do to help kids who have a little tougher road to move along that road well. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Yep. Thank you so much. A walkthrough to see all these things, to bring different groups together in one spot. It's got to be a joy to be a part of this.
It is. It's a true joy, and like we were talking about, it's a calling. We're so glad you're here, and we can share Oxford Education and Innovation Campus today.
y'all stop by here. This is a lovely place, and it's part of our school system, right?
It is.
So, thank you again.
You're welcome.
Good,
My
good to
pleasure.
see you.
You too. Be well.
See you next time.